Cars are everywhere. Just take a look at this parking lot. All of these cars were made possible by some very secret engineering steps that most people are unaware of. And we will reveal them all today. You can also check out our other videos after this one about more inventions that changed the world. But for now, let's get started. First, we need to go back to 1886, when the first car was created by a German engineer named Carl Benz. His invention is still considered to be the first practical automobile ever. But his engine wasn't exactly powerful or efficient. It was a single cylinder with an output of only 0.75 horsepower, so not even close to being able to haul anything. This wasn't a problem in the beginning, because no one really knew how useful a car could become. But within just a few years, engineers had already started experimenting with heavier vehicles. And that's when they realized that something had to change. One of the first major changes that was made to improve the efficiency of the internal combustion engine was the introduction of 4 strokes. Most people don't know this, but there are actually 2 types of engines, 2-stroke and 4-stroke. 2-stroke engines use a mixture of oil and gasoline, which is why they're also known as 2-cycle engines. They ignite that fuel in a crankcase, and then force it down into the combustion chamber where it gets squeezed by a piston and then ignited. The 4-stroke engine, on the other hand, uses separate chambers for mixing the fuel and air, compressing it, and then igniting it. This design allows for better control over the combustion process, resulting in an engine that is much more powerful than its 2-stroke counterpart. This new engine would end up being the standard for most automobiles going forward. Next, engineers worked on another secret step that ended up making the modern car possible: the electric starter. Imagine trying to start your car by hand every single time you wanted to drive it. That was the reality for drivers during the early days of automobiles. It was a huge pain. Not only did you have to turn the crank until the engine started, but if your car stalled while you were driving, you would once again have to pull over and start the engine by hand. This was obviously unacceptable, especially considering how dangerous the roads were at the time. No one wanted to get stuck on the side of the road trying to start their car. This led to several different attempts at creating an electric starter, with the first patent being filed in 1879 by an American inventor named Hiram Moore. His design consisted of a small electric motor that would turn the engine over when activated by a switch inside the car. While this was a significant improvement, it wasn't without its own problems. One of the biggest issues was that the battery would quickly die, leaving the driver stranded with a dead car and a useless crank. This led to several redesigns of the electric starter over the years, with the first commercially successful version being introduced in 1912. This innovation made it much easier for drivers to start their cars, which contributed to the widespread adoption of automobiles. But there was still one thing that engineers couldn't figure out: the transmission. Early cars were incredibly difficult to drive, even for experienced motorists. They had no power steering, no automatic transmissions, and the engines were loud and vibrated constantly. But perhaps the most challenging aspect of driving an early car was shifting gears. Most early cars had between 3 and 5 gears. Drivers had to operate the clutch and gear stick simultaneously to make sure they did stall the engine. This required a great deal of skill and coordination, which made driving an intimidating task for many people. Plus, if you shifted the wrong gear, you could easily damage the transmission or even break the axle. Because of these challenges, many people were hesitant to learn how to drive. But as cars became more popular, the demand for an easier way to operate them grew louder, and that's when engineers came up with the solution: the planetary gear set. This ingenious design allowed for a smoother, more efficient gear shifting experience, making it much easier to drive. In fact, the planetary gear set is still used in most modern transmissions, although it has been significantly improved since its early days. But what about the tires? Well, the tires haven't really changed much over the years. They're still basically filled with air, although they do have stronger materials inside them to prevent blowouts. But there is one part of the tire that most people don't know about: the tubeless tire valve stem. Most people are not aware that the valve stem is actually a one-way valve. This means that air can only flow out of the tire through the valve and cannot flow back in. This is important because it prevents air from leaking back into the wheel well, which could cause a buildup of pressure and lead to serious accidents. Additionally, this feature helps to ensure that the tire stays properly inflated, even when the vehicle is parked. Now we will talk about another secret step that made the car possible: the differential. The differential is an incredibly important component of any vehicle that has more than one wheel. Essentially, it allows the wheels to rotate at different speeds while the vehicle is moving, which is crucial for making turns and navigating uneven terrain. Without the differential, the wheels would always rotate at the same speed, which would make it impossible to turn and would also cause the vehicle to shake and vibrate excessively. This would not only be incredibly uncomfortable for the passengers, but it would also cause the vehicle to wear out much more quickly. In fact, many early automobiles did not have differentials, which made them extremely difficult to control and maneuver. It was until 1891 that the first practical differential for automobiles was invented. By a French engineer named Maurice Lassalleau, this invention allowed the wheels to rotate at different speeds, making it much easier to steer the vehicle and navigate rough terrain. The differential has remained an essential part of automobiles ever since, although it has been continuously improved to make it more efficient and durable. But there is another component of the car that most people don't know about: the catalytic converter. You see, cars emit a variety of harmful pollutants into the atmosphere, including carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and unburnt hydrocarbons. These pollutants can have a negative impact on human health and the environment. Catalytic converters were first introduced in the United States in the early 1970s as a way to reduce the amount of pollutants emitted by vehicles. These devices contain a catalyst, typically platinum or palladium, which helps to convert the pollutants into less harmful substances. Today, catalytic converters are a standard component of most vehicles, helping to protect both human health and the environment. We should also mention the alternator, which is responsible for providing electrical power to the vehicle. It does this by converting mechanical energy from the engine into electrical energy. This is accomplished by rotating a coil of wire within a magnetic field, which generates an electrical current. The alternator is a crucial component of the car because it provides the electrical power needed for various systems. And components including the starter motor, headlights, radio, and various electronic control units. Without the alternator, the car would not be able to function properly. But there is one final secret step that made the car possible: the windshield wipers. Cars are designed to keep drivers safe from the elements, but rain, snow, and other inclement weather can still pose a serious hazard to drivers and other vehicles on the road. If a driver's vision is obscured by rain or snow, it can lead to dangerous accidents. To address this issue, engineers developed a simple yet effective solution: the windshield wipers. Windshield wipers are a crucial safety feature that helps drivers maintain visibility in adverse weather conditions. They work by removing rain, snow, and other debris from the windshield, allowing drivers to see clearly and react quickly to potential hazards. The basic design of windshield wipers consists of a rubber blade attached to a wiper arm that moves across the windshield in a back-and-forth motion. This motion is driven by a motor that is connected to the wiper arm. There are several different types of windshield wiper mechanisms, including the familiar back-and-forth wiping motion and a rotary motion that rotates the wiper arm in a circular fashion. More advanced wiper systems may also include features such as variable speed control, an automatic rain sensing system, and even heated blades for improved performance in cold weather. The invention of windshield wipers was a major breakthrough in automotive engineering, improving driver safety and making it possible to drive in a wider range of weather conditions. All these secret steps finally came together to create the car that we know and love today. Cars have become an integral part of our daily lives, providing us with convenience, comfort, and mobility. However, most people are unaware of the numerous innovations and engineering marvels that go into making a car. From the combustion engine to the electric starter, each component plays a vital role in making modern cars possible. Understanding the inner workings of a car not only helps us appreciate the complexity of this technology, but also allows us to make informed decisions as consumers and citizens. By shedding light on the secret steps involved in making a car, we can gain a deeper appreciation for this remarkable invention and the engineers who continue to push the boundaries of automotive innovation.